Hey, love. Hey. Hi, guys. Okay, it's your girl, Brandy Janae, who asked for this podcast. And I'm over live on TikTok as well. So, welcome to the Glow Up Room, Brandy Janae Beauty. I am here to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac, our finale. This was the finale episode to the season, even though we get another episode next week. But that episode is going to be all Karen. So we're going to see Karen get out of jail, Karen go home and greet her family, and Andy does a sit down, a one-on-one sit down with her. So as of everybody else on the cast, I don't expect that we'll see anything from them next week, which is why we got those ending cards at the end this week. Okay, so first things first, let's start off with, what are you going to rate this episode of Real Housewives of Potomac? Let me put that in the chat. What are we rating this week's episode of Real Housewives of Potomac? That's season 10. Episode 16. So now we can tell that they didn't have much to film, okay, because I feel like having 16 episodes, 17 if we include next week, and then I'm guessing, do we know how many parts the reunion gonna be? I don't think we do, but we're gonna say at least 2, right? It's probably gonna be 3 parts. So that would be 20 episodes total. I guess that might be on brand. I don't know why I feel like they get a few more than that, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just tripping. And maybe that's their usual episode layout. However, don't forget, let me know, what are you rating this week's episode of Real Housewives of Potomac? The episode is called Driving on Empty. Okay. Now, before we get all the way into that, wait a minute, y'all. Before we get all the way into the episode, we are going to go ahead and go through we're going to go through the reunion looks, okay? So let me pull it up real quick. Now, listen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Like, if this is your first time here, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping on my channel. If you are returning, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell notification. So when I go live, you're able to be notified that we are live. What is wrong with my little camera? Let me see if I can clean it or something. I feel like it's blurry. There we go. That's better. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, so make sure you like the video, share it out to your friends, share it out to your channel. And don't forget to drop down in the comments, right? We like to be able to engage, even if you missed the live. If you're catching the replay, go ahead, shoot me a comment. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Let me know what you thought about the season, right? And also let me know where you're watching from. I would love to know. Let me know if you staying warm, if you out here in the polar vortex like I am. But listen, I grew up in Chicago. I grew up in the Midwest. I don't like the cold, but it's kind of one of those things that's like, okay, here we go. Let's hurry up and get this over with, right? But for all of you people that's somewhere else that don't usually get snow, let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know where you are viewing from, excuse me, and let me know what you're doing. Let me know what you think. Okay, let's pull up this picture. Let's pull up the reunion picture. Okay, so Real Housewives of Potomac season 10 has filmed their reunion, and as we do know, right, Karen is in attendance. So first of all, let's give Wendy a little round of applause. Let me find my applause. let's give Wendy a round of applause because while she has been dealing with this fraud case, and I am really interested to get to the rest of the information, right? um I could say she's taking it on the chin. Like I said when we did the live about the charges, she seems to know something that we don't. At least that's the way that she is behaving. But maybe that is part of her demeanor, never let them see you sweat. So I'm saying cheers to Wendy for showing up. She went to BravoCon, and now she's here at the reunion. While I do expect they will ask her some questions, I'm not sure how much she's going to actually be able to answer, because it's still an ongoing case. And we done been through enough cases with these housewives to know how they go, right? They can't say nothing because it's an ongoing case, as they should, right? As they should, because that little sentence in those Miranda rights, anything you say can and will be used against you, is absolutely true. So look, the pictures I am putting up over on the YouTube channel, go over and follow me there if you want to look at the videos or look at the pictures, and be able to commentary with me there. Of course, it is I am Brandy Janae, or Brandy Janae TV. So that's the pictures. Look, it's giving brothel for me. Like all the red is giving brothel. I don't know if I'm just that old school though. Like, funny how sometimes I can see something and I can feel like, oh, that's a bit much. And then I try to figure out, like, well, why do I think that? Right. And that's the way I felt about this red. I was like, wow, that's like really a lot. I don't know. And for them all to be in this red, I don't know. It's given Moulin Rouge. Like that's the theme. I wonder what the theme was. Somebody I'm sure does know, but I wonder what the theme was. I'm saying Moulin Rouge because that's what I got from it with this red. It's very seductive. But let's go ahead and go through. We're gonna go through the ladies. And I am going to rate their looks. So we're gonna start off with, now how did Karen get up there? I don't want Karen. We're gonna start off with Jazzy. But no, you know what? No, we'll go to Karen. Let's start off with Miss Karen Huger, baby. So listen, I think Karen always gets it right. I feel like out of a 1 to 10, I'm gonna give this look about an 8. I think it's age appropriate for Karen. I like the shoulders, the sleeves, how one is dropping here and the other one is up high, giving you like a little asymmetrical. I like the corset bodice, and I like the mermaid drop. So I think she back like she never left, honey. Grind dom, okay. So I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing her 101 with Andy because last season she wasn't really accountable for much of anything. And the clip I did see that they showed us from next week, she was talking to her daughter, and she was saying how she was able to talk to some of the young ladies that she was locked up with, because she was just wanting to get them to get a hold of where they are. I have to agree with her. It took her 6 decades to land where she's at. And like she said, what are you doing here in your 20? And hey, factual, like you just jumped right on in, right? But that little clip, that little part kind of made me feel like we're going to get a more accountable Karen. We're going to get the Karen that might actually go ahead and admit that possibly there was an issue that she is being more tending to and taking care of, right? Because real talk, I feel like one DUI, you kind of can say, okay, one DUI, everybody is entitled to a fuck up, right? To a mess up, excuse my French. But when you talk about 4 and 5, I think that is a very true indication of a problem. And then couple that with the actual body cam footage that we saw. Oh, baby, because Karen was lit, especially for you to be out on the streets, honey. That's the kind of lit you supposed to be in your own house. So again, I feel like seeing her have that small little conversation. I think it was only like 3 minutes that they showed the clip. I was like, okay, look like Karen might actually come and be accountable. I don't know that there's anything because thank God her accident did not hurt anybody else. And I mean, so her and her family are the ones that really have had to suffer the most throughout all of this. But I'm hoping that she has taken that all in. Um, and she's gonna come out on top. So big ups to Karen. She didn't show up to the reunion last year. She chickened out, but she has arrived this year, and I think she is ready to be accountable. And we're gonna give Karen's look an 8. Okay, let me go ahead and drop that in the comments. Uh-oh. Hold on, y'all. I be doing way too much. Okay, I am going to rate Karen's an 8. Okay, that's in the comment. So let's move on to who is next. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this out the way. Jazzy, this is a hot mess. Like, I can't even imagine Contessa wearing something this bad. And Contessa can't dress to save her life. When we get to do the Married to Medicine reunion, she actually was appropriate on the girls' trip, right? But I think that's because she been dying to get her body seen and out. It's just been inappropriate in the places that she showed up with and half naked. But they on vacation, you at the pool. It's very appropriate to run around without any clothes on. So, and listen, the girl body is tea. I think, but I just think she can't dress worth a damn. Like, that's a shame. And it's funny that because I know that on Back to Real Housewives of Potomac, I know that Giselle gets the award for not knowing how to dress. And I always say this, like, I didn't think Giselle was a bad dresser. Like, that's never come out of my mouth like Giselle can't dress the way it does for Contessa. Contessa can't dress. I think Giselle, I just take Giselle for what she is. And we're gonna get into some more about that. But so I mean, I don't think she really cares a lot about the labels, about what somebody think about what she wearing and everything. And so I think for that, I don't necessarily think much about it. And like I say, unless I can't dress either. So that would be something somebody would need to let me know. But back to Jazzy. This is a mess. The roses all on top. Like, who made this? This looks like something from like the Project Runway season 1 audition tapes. We're gonna give this a 2. And I'm only giving that a 2 because I guess you get 1 for effort, right? I am rating Jazzy's look a 2. There we go. Yeah, that's a 2, honey. And I believe out of everybody, she is more than likely going to be the worst dress for the reunion. Let's go to the next one. Monique. Okay, Monique hit us with some avant-garde. She's got the wide shouldered like triangle panel in the back, the triangle panel for the front. She's got the warrior leg sitting out with the garter and the accents. It's a play on the shades of red, and even texture, right? It's very avant-garde. It's given Project Runway for sure, but it's given one of the winners, right? It's given T. I actually like this for Monique. Monique generally gets it right, especially during reunion. I love the way Monique has seems like I want to call it like a appreciation for African culture. And I feel like when gets dressed for the reunion, she kind of incorporates that in, whether it's with her hairstyling, whether it's with jewelry or her look. I feel like she's always sending a nod to the ancestors. And I like this. I don't know if it's something that I would wear myself, but I think it's great. So I'm giving her 8. We're gonna give Monique a 8. Now I'm gonna come back and go back through Karen and Monique. Anybody who gets 8 and above, and we're gonna see which one we think is the best dress. So let's move on from Monique and let's look at Angel. It's not as bad as Jazzy's. So she's not the worst dress in the place. Uh, hmm. It's just okay. It's not horrible. It's just okay. And look, the after the season Angel in here, we can give her an okay, just okay. I am going to rate. I am rating Angel's look. I'm gonna just give her a 5. Look, she's had a horrible season, and we're gonna get into that with the episode. We don't need to give her no more. Give her a 5. I like, for me, I just feel it's just real regular. It almost looks like a nightgown or something, like something she would wear on like an anniversary or a honeymoon or something. I don't know. I don't really care for the fur. And then she's playing with textures, but the textures don't seem to mix. Like the bodice is nice, but then she's got this silk or satin material down for the bottom, and it looks a little wrinkled, ruffled. Maybe that was supposed to be ruching or something. I don't know, but I don't like it. And see, that's another thing. Like, sometimes people have to know like what patterns and things are okay for body types and body shapes. Like, if you have like hips and maybe thighs, ruching might not be what you want to put on the hips and the thigh part, because that just like makes it look bigger. I know people like big hips, but it is not always flattering. And that's kind of what I'm feeling about Angel's look. Like, it's not the most flattering for her, but it's not horrible. So we gonna give Angel a break over there. It's her first reunion, okay? All right, so now we have Miss Tia. Now, see, I wonder if whoever did Angel's dress did Tia's dress, because this is looking similar, and this little ruching on the right side of Tia's dress, I'm feeling like that's what it was supposed to be over on Angel's dress. Now, it looks different on Tia because Tia is more smaller than Angel. So if she gets ruching around her hip and her butt, it's okay. It just adds a little more padding, right? And I'm not body shaming anybody. What I am saying is this is the way you have to dress in order to be flattering for your body type. Like, even you can be small. I've said this about my own self, like especially when I was like a size 2 and 4. There were some things that didn't look good on me, that would look better on somebody who carried more weight. And that's just the deal. That's just the deal. So what are we gonna rate for Tia's look? I like Tia's look. I don't know if I'm gonna give her an 8 though. It's giving Akira. It's giving like you could go find this at Akira. But she looks good. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put her in the running with an 8. I'm going to rate Tia's look. I'm gonna go ahead and put her in the 8 category, because then we're gonna figure out. So we do like a 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 8. So that's kind of we putting her in the 7 to 8 category. Next is Stacy. I like Stacy's dress. It is very, it's very her. It's very elegant. It's very classic. There's not too much going on, even with the beading. I mean, maybe it's the picture, so we'll see what it looks like when they're when they're sitting down and on camera. But I think Stacy did great. Stacy did great. We're gonna put her in the 7 to 10 category as well. Stacy is going in the 7 to 10 category. Okay, yeah. Giselle. Okay, her dress. So this is the deal about Giselle. That's what I mean. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Giselle wear something and I'm like, oh my God, that's cute. You know, like Giselle is not the fashion girly. I think we can all agree on that. Now, can she dress? I think it's all relative, which that's the deal. Like when people say, well, Giselle can't dress, and I'm like, man, I didn't necessarily take in that same opinion. So Giselle's dress is very plain would be the right word. It's ruched in the middle. She's got one sleeve on, one sleeve out, long sleeve, no sleeve on the side. She's got a slit up the middle for a little leg action. I mean, it's very on par with Giselle. I'm gonna definitely give her about a 5 because it's not spectacular, right? But it's not horrible. Of course, I think Jazzy has won the worst dress for sure. So Giselle is ranking in at a 5. Yeah, we're gonna give her a 5. Make sure y'all let me know what do you think about the girls' reunion looks. Um, so next is Kay. We have Kay. I like this look on Kay. I think the hair is good. I think the dress fits her. She's got a little structure going on with the arm, the like ruching. I think that ruffled around. Looked like she might have some sequins in the dress. I mean, again, it's like it's not spectacular. She's not in the 7 to 10 category, but we're gonna put her in the 4 to 6. Yeah, we're gonna put her in the 4 to 6. Kay is ranking in the 4 to 6 category. I like Ashley's dress. Um, I like Ashley's dress. I like Ashley's dress. Yeah, I think she did good. It looks older for her. Like I could see Karen in this dress. Um, but I do like it. So Ashley gets the 7 to 10. As a matter of fact, we're just gonna go on and give her an 8. All right, and here we are with Wendy. I like this for Wendy. And so what I have noticed, I wonder what the theme was. I'm gonna have to find that out. I wonder what their dress theme was. Because what I have noticed amongst all the girls, they all are playing with texture. Meaning they're adding in something else that's different than what the main texture of the dress is. I like Wendy's look. I love this jacket. It's the jacket for me, honey. What is that? Feathers, yeah. And then with the patent leather, sleek halter look. Like it's the most simple, but I think that feather jacket just kind of takes it there. Um, Wendy killed it. Wendy killed it. I'm really about to give Wendy a 10. I think Wendy won the best dress for me. I think Wendy won the best dress for me. I like this. I like this a lot. Wendy slayed the girls. She on trial. She is on trial and she did not come to play. She say, she say, I am not gonna look like what I've been through, okay? Or what I'm going through, honey. You ain't gonna know nothing going on. I'm still gonna look as fabulous. I think the hair is good. She's got it one side over, one off the shoulder. I love it. I love it. I love the feather jacket. Like I said, it's the feather jacket for me. Now that's one thing for me is I like accents. That's kind of her style right here is very similar to my own personal style, which would be something that is classic, but then to add like a little flair, right? Um, and yeah, that feather coat she got on, yeah, it's giving. It's giving. You go, girl. Let's give Wendy a hand clap for showing up and showing out. Okay, because that she did. That she did. You said yes, Wendy had to come through, being that this may be her last reunion. Right, that's what I said. She will not be denied, honey. She like, listen, I might be on trial, but don't you let it fool you, because I'm still that girl. Even with a felony on my over my head. But yeah, I like that. I think, like I said, I think Wendy is best. I'm thinking she's best dressed out of the girls. Um, yeah, I'm giving her best dress. I love that. I love that feather coat. I really do. Angel, she tried, and again, we just gonna let Angel have this. We just gonna let Angel have this because I can't take no more. I know she can't take no more. Um, Ashley looks good. Tia looks good. Jazz, yes, is a mess. Um, Monique looks good, but Wendy gave it to him. Wendy said she did not come to play with you hoes. She came to slay, and that is what she came to do. So cheers to Wendy for just staying on brand, honey. Staying on brand. So that is what we have for the reunion looks. Now listen, after I watched the episode this week, I told myself, I said, why didn't they just give us the episode with Karen? She looks like a model. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. That's what I mean. Like it's very, and so does Monique. Monique had that very avant-garde, that's what I said, Project Runway type of, like she was the model for Project Runway. And we talking one of the winners, okay? One of the winning designs is what she wearing. Okay. Jazzy looked like she was from the audition tapes. That the people send in. I don't know what they got to do. But honey, Jazzy, this is a mess. I don't even know what's going on here. Why are those roses placed the way they are? Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So let's go ahead and talk about this episode though, because listen, finally, finally, the trip is over. And so is the season. But finally the trip is over. Now listen, it's funny how we've been talking. I've been looking in the group chats, and I see a lot of different comments about production setting up Angel. Um, I'm not trying to pile on Angel. I think that when you do commentary, you're just supposed to be, honest about what it is we watching. And so I don't think production set her up. Say, did you see Jazzy other pictures and video? It looks better. I'm gonna have to go to her page and check it out. I can't imagine that would look any better. It's like, where are you going, girl? Are you in the school play? That's why I'm like, even Contessa don't dress that bad. Contessa more so just look out of place. And what do you know what the theme was for this reunion? I said Moulin Rouge because that's kind of, I don't, it must be the red. That I must be old school to kind of correlate red and like red gowns with seductiveness and like high, I don't know, hypersexuality, I guess. I might just be making up stuff, but y'all know, how I was always told we couldn't wear red lipstick, right? And everybody know why. So I don't need to repeat it. And I think I still just have that idea. So yes, girl, the trip is finally over. Thank you, Jesus, honey. I know nobody more thankful than Angel, I could assume, because it was a mess. This trip was a mess from beginning to end. So going back to production, you know what I thought about? I was looking at old episodes of Love After Lockup. And because, like I said, I see a lot of comments in the groups that's like they think production set them up. I know myself and Angela was talking last week because Angela was like, they did not stay at their house. Like they had to go get something else. And I'm like, really, it could go 50-50. I literally could see them staying there. Like I could see that. And then I could also see them saying absolutely not and booking it somewhere else. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the thing about the reality TV and TV in general is like, unless somebody gives it out, those are the things you're not really going to know. However, so this is why I brought up Love After Lockup. The interesting thing about Love After Lockup, and 90 Day also, it's not production's job to intervene. They're only there to film or, to transport or whatever, whatever the capacity is and why they're there. They're not there to kind of say, oh, well, so-and-so left 2 hours ahead of you, so you want to get going? They're not there for that. And because it is a reality show, of course, they're not there to intervene because they want to follow the reality of whatever this fallout is. So the idea that production would set her up, I think it's a reach. It's a reach. Angel mentioned in the car ride, that was the entire episode. Like, it's almost as bad as, that Marlo's trip. I always refer back to Marlo's trip, season 12, 13, whatever it was, Real Housewives of Atlanta, where half the episode took place in the driveway of the house because they never got all the way out to leave and go to they was doing like finding gems or something like that. And so, and half the episode, and I thought, oh my God, if this is what they filming, I know the production crew bored as hell. And so kind of the same thing, like we literally watched 4 episodes of these ladies driving around in a car from one place to the next. I think the most exciting thing they did was go to the Kimosabe on the private jet. But then they cringed that up by exposing how much they spent, and that was really weird. And I feel like that was Angel's idea. So back to Angel and back to this production setup. I think Angel set herself up. Angel set herself up for failure. So in the car with Tia, after she realized they are lost, right? You don't know how to get to the actual place that you planned to take your guests, even though you use all kind of other lakes, you decided to accommodate this group, you would go to a lake you've never been to before. And also have a time crunch. Like, Angel is not the smartest, is not the sharpest tool in the toolbox. I think that's what it boiled down to. Sorry. Because none of that made sense. So what she said to Tia in the car was that she, at the end of the episode, right? Tia's like consoling her. Now, we only saw her cry twice on this show. God only knows how many times she actually did cry while they were filming. Because you know what else is interesting? Kay and Tia didn't have nothing to talk about their experience away from the girls, right? So anyway, before I get off track, let's get back to this. So back to Angel, Tia consoling Angel in the car. And Angel was saying, I feel like a masochist. I meant to look that up. I feel like I know what it means in the way that I've heard it used, but I want to look it up because I think I want to understand in the way that Angel was trying to use it. So what is a masochist? Now, what I believe a masochist to be, or in the way that I've heard it, is like someone who is purposely like given punishment. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but it's something like that. We say, yes, there should have been nothing but the brunch schedule. I mean, for sure. And I mean, here's the thing: if you was gonna do the fly fishing, you should have known exactly where you were going. Like it, and they made a great point on Carlos King show, because I thought that too. Like, oddly enough, the man who was there to cook was there, the lady who was there for the guy, and I'm just gonna throw this out here. Now, call it body shaming if you want to. But the girl who was there for the guy looked like she was in worse shape than Angel. And I don't know if I want nobody to take me on some guide that look like they might pass out before I do. I can be in better shape than my own tour guide. That's all I'm saying. And we out in the wilderness. This don't even make no sense. But that's what I was wondering. Like, like, what are they gonna do it? But okay, let's go back to what is the masochist. So back to that conversation. So she says she felt like she was a masochist this season. She made the statement that she had took so much time planning this trip for the ladies, and yeah, everything did go wrong. But I thought to myself, what did you plan exactly? I'm confused. You didn't know exactly where you was going. So what did you plan? Because I feel like if you planned it out for months, then you would have taken your own self to this brand new lake that you pulled out the sky. To take these brand new people to like Claudia said, it's like going to a new hairdresser on your wedding day. Who does that? It's the biggest mistake ever. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like you don't wait until then it's going to cut your hair off, before you go get married. Like, nobody really does that for real. And so yeah, I just was like the way she explains herself, she just, for me, digs herself in a deeper hole. And so what I have come to the conclusion of, which I mentioned this in the last reviews, but I think it's absolutely true. Of course, whenever they approach Angel, I don't know if this is the first season that they approached her, if they've approached her previously. Okay. However, we already know that anybody being approached to come on the Housewives shows definitely understands the visibility that they are about to come into. Okay. Self-defeating behavior. Okay. Yeah, because I spelled it wrong. I spelled it wrong up here. Let me see. See, I don't know. Where did I hear that? I'm trying to think of the context in which I had heard that term being used, but I felt like it was being used and I guess maybe like you say, self-defeating behavior. It was being used in a way like you said, giving self-harm or something. Yeah, like some type of punishment. And I guess maybe people mm, maybe this the BDSM type of thing or something like that. But yeah, it is. But not that I'm into that, but I feel like, y'all, I watch a lot of stuff. So that's funny how I can give tidbits of information from God knows any, God knows where. Okay, it's like just something I know, right? But so it says not the same as self harm. Wait a minute, let's go. Some people are drawn to situations where they endure emotional pain. I feel like that's what she's talking. That's the context in which she was using it in. Like she just kept showing up to fail, to fail, to fail. Listen, I would have to I mean, agree with her on that because each and every time it was just like, girl, like it started off with her word vomit to Jassy about some girl in the WAG circle. You say I just looked it up. I swear Angel is the reading rainbow. Now listen, and that go back to me saying like I feel like she was just way too far in her head. Like she made the number one housewife mistake. When you join housewives, having a preconceived or disposition about how you want to be presented is the ultimate way to be misrepresented. And it's so strange to me that we in season 10 of Real Housewives of Potomac, we are in year 20 of the Real Housewives franchise in general, right? So a housewife has been on the air for 20 years. And here it is, you still have new people coming on the show feeling like they have control over their edits and what's presented, what's represented, as opposed to really getting out your head and giving us who you are. You know, I think if Angel could have got out her head, so I feel like she joined the show. She had a goal in mind, which is to launch this business. Now, Angela, you tell me if you looked it up. Ain't no way Wonderland was open before the season, right? Ain't no way. She ain't did nan tour. She ain't set up nan anything before this season. I can bet my money. I can bet money I don't have on that. Because you can clearly, like it's clear, and I feel bad for her because, like, now this is the part of me that gives Angel some empathy, right? And it's the business part. I feel horrible that she had the idea that she would bring her business on this show. Of course, she had to sign this Bethany clause, which means Bravo gets a percentage of, whatever it is from her business. It's probably going to be zero. But unless somebody just interested to see if she got her together by now. But so she's agreed to do that, and nothing about this trip gave Angel is the girl you call to plan anything. I'm like, Stacy, well, she said I wouldn't have her plan a trip to the grocery store. She'd come back with all the wrong shit. Talking about why you got stuff in here that don't match. You got peanut butter, no jelly. Okay. Bread, no butter. But yeah, like I'm with Stacey on that. I wouldn't trust her to plan anything, to curate an experience. And she's so funny to me when she uses these adjectives. So as the episode opened, she's talking to Giselle. Giselle like, hey, we going to the hotel, we're gonna do brunch. And so Angel is trying to take control back of the trip, so she is having this power struggle with Giselle. That's another thing too that new housewives make the mistake of, coming in and trying to place your power in the group. I don't know if it's okay or not, but I think that there is a pecking order in the housewives universe. And I think that as a person coming in, you should honor that. So I think anytime you come and you have a superior attitude, right? And not just, I called it snooty on Kempire's show yesterday, but I really meant superior. Um, and what I mean is it's Sutton. Sutton has a superior attitude, which is why it's so hard for her to get along with the other girls, because the other girls are still looking at you like, B, I got what you got. And it's kind of the same thing with Angel. Angel Mike does have more net worth than these girls, I guess, because even you figure Giselle been on the show 10 years. I'm guessing Giselle got a few dollars saved up, right? You know, but that belongs to her because she ain't got no husband that she, you know, is splitting this with, or you know, that's got to split it with her. But anyway, so that's the issue. It's like you here with us, you know, and so it would behoove you to get along with us as opposed to come in, join a group, and then feel like you have to bring them up a level. If you needed to bring them, like nobody has asked you to come into a show in season 10. Like we don't even know you, girl. You are not Nene Leakes. Like nobody's called you in to save the show in season 10. That's not happening. Um, So when you come, so that's you come in with the superior attitude, Claudia Jordan. That happened to her. Again, I could name first season housewives that kind of had that, and it didn't work for them. Sutton, on the other hand, I think Sutton, the reason why she's been able to stick along is because she aligned with just Garcelle. I was about to say Giselle. She aligned herself with Garcelle, and Garcelle needed somebody to align, kind of like Wendy and Giselle this season. Like once Candace was gone, just Wendy needed to align herself somewhere. She was the odd man out. And then here comes Stacy. So her and Stacy clearly does have a friendship because we see them kind of hash it out. We see Wendy give her some good advice about, you know, playing this game, right? Playing this game with the girls. Like, we know that you be lying, we know whatever, but you're not supposed to do that to the real friends. You know, like you keep it 100 with them. Like you play these games with these other girls, but don't play with me. And I'm okay with Wendy when she like, I'm with you when you're right. I agree with Wendy about that. But like I said, so when you have to have a friend. Most people are not going to want to watch somebody who has no friends, Angel. And poor thing when it comes to Kay, I mean, Kay just let the girl fall. It seemed like, and I feel like Kay did not make it better. She on the phone with the girls talking about that they were on their way to prepare, like the man was there to prepare a $10,000 gourmet lunch. Girl, what is a part of this $10,000 gourmet lunch? I sure would like to know, because I know damn well you ain't got me driving 3 hours to a fishing excursion to eat caviar. I'd rather do that on a boat. You know what I mean? I'd rather do that at the Four Seasons or, you know, on the rooftop somewhere. You know, I think Angel she did not vet her audience, like read the room. She didn't read her audience. You know, like I don't know how you thought you was about to get those girls to show up to fly fishing by themselves. If you wanted them to go fly fishing, you were supposed to make sure you took them fly fishing. Not, oh, hey, meet me here. Now back to this whole the water situation with the house that she rented. Like I noticed that's why I said I feel like them calling out the amount that they spent at the store was Angel's idea, because Angel seemed to be the one. I haven't seen anybody else on this show do what she did, and she did it more than once, which was call out what something cost. So even with the house, she said that's a $1.6 million house. Well, if it has no running water, it's a $1.6 million piece of, you know, trash in a sense, because I would at least like it to have running water. You can't sell me on a $1.6 million house that's so fabulous and the damn water don't work. Yeah, what you spend the money on? Because what I'm gonna tell you to do is go grab whatever 500, whatever 100,000s need to go into making sure the house got running water on a consistent basis. Now, while that's not her fault, okay, she's not in charge of what's going on. But if this is her town, this is where she's from. So she happens to explain that where they were, they had to use well water, and well water operates differently. Listen, we all live in some sort of city where we have, water. That's why we all pay this water bill. And so, like the water comes through our faucet and we ain't worried about nothing. Not too much, as long as it don't get contaminated. But anyway, so if you knew that, why wouldn't you just explain that to the ladies? Why wouldn't you have given them that explanation? Not that that would have made it any better, because I still would be like, get me the hell up out of here. Because I agree, if you didn't have no running water, where was y'all using the bathroom at? Y'all was using if it's yellow, let it mellow. Then when the water started working, everybody had to rush to go flush the toilets. Is that what was going on? So because no running water presents other problems other than you can't wash up. You can't flush the toilet. You can't drink something if you're thirsty. You can't wash your hand. Yeah, so I can, as I'm saying those things out loud, but again, I think they have confirmed that they had the intermediate water situation. I think that kind of does lend itself to say, um maybe they did not stay for that whole time. Maybe they did leave earlier. But anyway, that wasn't Angel's fault. What I fault Angel for in that place was not checking on your guests. And not just not checking on them, but you would put me somewhere and then you go off to your nice house with running water, whatever, all of the amenities that you have, and you don't check on me. That's bad hosting. She did say, I think I saw a post where she was explaining that Wonderland does not do overnight. They do not provide overnight accommodations. So she was really kind of getting upset with the way that we are perceiving this trip to be in correlation to what her business is. What I'm saying is, you're not a good coordinator. Like, I don't. I wonder how the kids is getting around. No wonder Bobby is at the house, because the house is probably running amok. And she probably just walks around so calm until she ready to cry. Wonder how many times does she cry? To be honest, because I feel like she probably cries a lot. But she certainly seemed to this season. And I don't think, listen, and I saw a lot of the other posts I was seeing people had an opinion about was that she was being bullied. I think that's absurd. That girl was not being bullied. Now, listen, the whole catfish comment, I think that was some light shade. And I feel like if she could have taken that just on the chin, and not really held on to it the way she did, then maybe she could have done a better job at moving on this season. And like, I understand how people feel about Giselle. Giselle had not been my favorite character on Potomac either, because when her and Robin were together, I didn't like that little and it was like this mean girl banter, which I take it back. I don't think Giselle is a mean girl. I literally think Angel is the mean girl. I think we get confused about what mean girls look like or the way that they behave, right? And also, I think you get confused about somebody who is pretending not to be a mean girl, but is doing things that are mean girls. That's Gabrielle Union. Because I think Gabrielle Union, maybe she's a reformed mean girl. I think she has admitted to being a reformed mean girl, but I knew she was a mean girl from the start. You can tell by her conversation. You can tell that, and that's what I mean, with Angel. You can tell by her conversation that she has a condescending, superior type of attitude to individuals, and maybe not the ones who she know not in her lane. So she might not think that about somebody like me, or some of us that just go to work our 9 to 5s and things. But let's say the people that runs in the circles that she runs, she can have a superior attitude with them. And that's even more crazy, because when we all running in the same circle, like, why would you need to be superior to me? I'm here the same as you. Don't we both deserve to be here? You know? So like, I think that can be confusing and gaslighting. So again, with the thing that Giselle, and this gets up under everybody's skin, but it's like, it's housewives 101. If you're gonna be a good housewife, then you need to not give a damn about what the people thinking. But in order to do that, you've got to be able to know, you got to know who you are, and you have to be able to show up as yourself. And I think Giselle has that covered. Probably because she's been living her whole life that way. Now, maybe I feel like what we get confused with Giselle is she probably does have like the pretty girl privilege. I think that she has not had to do very much, which is probably why she don't care about what she wear. She's not had to go through life doing a whole lot to get the attention, to get anything. Let me go grab Prince Michael Jackson real quick. He is in there barking. He might have to pee. Hold on. Okay, I'll open his playpen. Okay, I'm back, y'all. So back to Angel and Giselle and the whole, I think that people's opinions like get so caught up in like what's being presented. Um and so, like, because people have their feeling about Giselle, pretty much they don't like Giselle. I think that everything Giselle does looks like um some negative action. So it's like bullying, like nobody's bullying that girl. But she did not rise to the occasion. Now, did Giselle have to talk to her the way she did on that plane? No, she didn't. And it was out of line. I don't think that I could have been in that situation and Giselle have that type of tone with me. Because I think I would have returned a tone, right? Like, excuse me, who you, and I might not have said, who do you think you're talking to? But I would have returned a tone that would probably that was meant to send a message of, who do you think you're talking to? Let's back this up. But I think Dustin called it right when it came to Angel. Like, that's not who Angel is. That's why we see her coming like after the fact. She's defending herself, like, with her posts and in the comments. And the problem is she's defending herself to the wrong, like, to the wrong people. I say this because Carlos King says it too, and it is true. The comments are for the comment sections. I don't think that any of the reality stars should be filtering through their comment sections, not unless it's on their personal platform and a post that they posted. But going into the other blogs and going into that and being all in their comment sections, you're gonna get your feelings hurt, and you're gonna be sitting up trying to argue with a bunch of people who, A, you don't know them, and they don't even know what they're talking about half the time. So you leave it for them. But when you come trying to answer these questions, because even with her coming back to say Wonderland doesn't do overnights, it that doesn't matter that they don't do overnights, so like she's kind of saying that the her with the house, like that would not be something that any of her customers would have to worry about, right? Is not having running water because they don't provide overnight accommodations. Yeah, it's your planning that we're all talking about. I think you missed that. It is your coordinating that we're all talking about. So, like an event planner, a good one should know how to, like decorate and should know how to take on some of these tasks herself or themselves. However, a good event planner is gonna go vendor out what she needs. So you're gonna go find the cake person to make your cake. You're gonna go find, the drape person to come drape the room. You're gonna go find, like you are going to go and do this, and you're gonna bring them all together and coordinate the design of this event. So that's kind of where I think nobody is family. We all need to show some love. Who is this? But I think that's what we are where we are losing sight is that nobody is being mean to her. Nobody is bullying her. She planned a trip and it was a massive fail. And I don't think production set her up. I think, like I said, it's not their job to intervene and to make things better or right. They're just there to film and catch what's going on. So if you lost, you just lost, right? But that was interesting that those people could get there, the crew, the man who was cooking, and the coordinator, but somehow you got lost. And for hours. And imagine the car ride. Check this out, y'all. Angel was here for one purpose only, and it could not be more louder and just more wrong. You know what they say? You be loud and wrong. That's what it is, loud and wrong. But as Tia, Kay, and Angel were in the car, all 4 episodes, whatever it was, we did not see them have any sort of banter about their evenings. Um, Even Kay and Angel, like, are they friends? Or had they just known each other for a long time? Because they don't even feel that friendly. Like Shamia and Portia, right? It was no denying that those two were not just friends, but best friends, for a while. Because their banter, like Giselle and Robin. They had a banter with each other that you very much could tell these girls spend time with each other off camera. Like this camera did not pull them together as friends. So I'm saying that to say, like, Angel, for lack of better words, is a boring person. Because those girls did not have fun while they were staying at her house. Tia said it from the first episode of the trip. They did not show the question that the producer asked, but I'm guessing the producer maybe asked her something about did she get to go around the house or did she tour the house or something. And Tia said she was shown where her room was, and that is where she stayed. Which for me made it sound like she wasn't made very comfortable. When we saw Bobby on that episode and his friends that came over, the coldness that they gave the ladies, that seemed to go along with my theory that she's not welcoming, she's not warming. I don't know why you would invite somebody to your house and then be cold to them. And also why you would invite these people all the way to Colorado, and they didn't get to see anything but the Kimosabe. Like, that's literally all I have taken from this trip. Also, that I don't think I ever want to go to Colorado. Now, the funny is my son is going to Aspen next month, he said. So I did tell him, I said, you got to go to Kimosabe. I said, you got to go to Kimosabe. I just saw it on Real Housewives of Potomac. And see, that's the deal. Like, we usually like well, I speak for myself. I usually love seeing the girls' trips because usually during the girls' trips, there'd be some bumps in the road. You know, they fight about the rooms. They might fight and hash some stuff out. But what I like most is to see them all get together, have a good time, and to see some of the little places that they end up visiting. Which, going back to what we talk about being aspirational, right? So I have been to the La Bocara market, whatever it's called, out in Spain. I went to the market. Why? Because the housewives of Atlanta went to the market. It was a way I had an opportunity to go to Spain. I didn't know what else besides the La Familia church. I didn't know what else to really go and try to go sightsee. Thank God I had watched the housewives because hey, they gave me a few ideas to take us around. We went to the ice bar. I feel like I saw that on some other reality show. And then we did Dinner in the Sky when we went to Greece. Why? Because the housewives were able to do Dinner in the Sky. I don't think I would have known Dinner in the Sky even existed if it had not been on the housewives. Because this was a while ago before I was on TikTok. I'll say that. I don't know who else was on TikTok, but it's before I was on TikTok. So I'm saying I would not have known that exists. So Colorado would have been a great opportunity to show something about what it said. Why you didn't take the two weed girls to a dispensary? It is two ladies in your group that have weed companies, and you didn't take them to a dispensary to go check out what I guess I would take if I took a group of people to Colorado, I would take you to the dispensary. Now, not saying you had to get something. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But yeah, why didn't they go to the dispensary? And Angel trips me out with all of this mindfulness because, girl, what is going on in your mind? I need to know because you didn't we didn't see anything come to fruition. Not anything. So let me go back to my empathy for her though. Because as Funky Dunny would say, and I do believe the same thing, you do not tear nobody down without building them and lifting them back up. Okay. So here's what I want to at least extend my empathy to Angel about. And it's about the business. And it's good because this is close to my heart, right? Same with Sheree. I gave Sheree this same empathy about her business because I'm in a similar boat. I started my business in 21. I mean, I have made profit from it, but is it as profitable as I want it to be? Absolutely not. Let it go. Let it go. Prince Michael Jackson like to try to tear up the puppy pads now. So now I got him a playpen, which I got the door open so he can kind of come in and out. But I'm about to set him up in there when we get done with this live because I don't want him to start barking. Leave it alone. You stop. Okay, so where was I at before Prince Michael Jackson just interrupted me? Yes, I called you. Where was I at before? Oh, about the business. So, like the same empathy I gave to Sheree for taking 14 years to get a fashion show down the line. You know, I have been that person who has been trying so hard to build my brand and my business. And I mean, over and over, year after year, right? And I mean, and here's the thing, opening a business is hard, especially if you don't know what you're doing, Angel. Because I mean, I feel like she has a good idea. She just doesn't know how to bring it to fruition. Which sometimes that means you got to go get the people who do, you know. But anyway, um, but like I say, I'm going to extend her grace there. I hate that this trip went so horrible for them. And it is not just the editing. Like these episodes were boring as hell. And why? Because all we saw them doing was driving from one place to the next. We didn't really see them do anything. And the part we did see them do was very cringy, and we really could have did without it. But that goes back to show just what they had, because I'm almost sure if they had anything else to show, they would have shown it. They would have shown it. Stop. Stop. They would have shown it. So like you can only work with what you have, right? And that just is what it is. So production did not set Angel up. Um, the girls are not bullying her. And I think they were right to be upset about the trip they went on. But now listen, they all got paid a nice, pretty chunk of change to have a horrible time. They doing much better than I am. But I don't care. Like how I said, Kenya is a girl that would never be able to go anywhere else with me after that Bolo, South Carolina trip. Angel is a girl who would never be able to plan anything for me, not for me to be a part of. Like, girl, you just come along and let me show you what to do. You know what I mean? Angel was this was a total fail. So that's really all I wanted to get on and talk about. I wanted to go through the reunion looks, and I really just wanted to do a synopsis of what we saw on this last episode. Of course, you already know we are going to be doing our live. Myself and Word on the Curb will be doing our live this evening at 8:30. So we will be covering Real Housewives of Potomac and Married to Medicine. And so that is where we'll get into maybe breaking down more of the episode, talking more about Wendy and Stacy and Jazzy and that whole conversation that they had in the car. I thought it was really, I mean, listen, again, they had to do something. So Jazzy had to pull something about her, but and that's what she did. So it gave us some commentary. Um, it gave us some content is what I should say, because other than that they had none. And like I said, the car that Angel was in, it was strange to me because I'm like, these girls have hung out with you this whole weekend and y'all don't seem to be having no fun either. You know, like they not in the car talking about like, oh, the girls should have stayed with us last night because we had so much fun staying up talking. No, Angel was giving, when them cameras went down, everybody went to their perspective, whatever corners, and that was that. Everything was shut down. And I would love to know if we could get that information. I would love to know that because I would bet money. I would bet money on that. I would bet money on that they didn't do anything. Um, and that sucks because here it is, you have a business that is surrounded by curating an experience. Um, and this experience that you went to curate was just disastrous. And listen, one thing again, going back to building a business, running a business, starting a business, promoting your business, all of those things take courage, um, strength, money, um, and I hate that it's going down in flames for her because that's what it feels like. I wouldn't book an experience with Wonderland, not after this shit. And here's the deal. And you had help to get this done. Like you coordinate with production about the things going on in your trip. So I'm confused about how those other people was able to get to the spot, but you didn't. And now Kay was funny talking about the coordinates. She said, I put in the coordinates on the map and I just followed it. So I'm not the best with maps either. And my sense of direction is jacked. Like the only thing, like even in Indianapolis, I know East gets me home. That's what I know. But all of that, when people you give directions and people start talking about go south on this street, don't do that. Don't do that because I don't know what you're talking about. My sense of direction is horrible. But I do know this. She was using MapQuest or something, but I do know that if you're going somewhere in a park or something in the woods, that it would be the coordinates, like the mile markers on the highway. I feel like it's something similar to that. But that was funny with Kay. So I feel like Kay did not show up for her friend as a good friend. She did not have her back. She just left her hanging to dry. She while y'all talking about production, threw her under the bus. Girl, her friend threw her under the bus. That's who threw her under the bus. That's who threw her under the bus, honey. And it'd be interesting for us to get to this reunion and just to see where they stand now. Just to see, yeah, just to see how that goes. And then see if they really are friends, because I got the feeling that they're not really friends. I think they know each other. Like I'm good for this. I'll tell a person in a minute, like, you know me, but you don't know me. You know what I mean? Like, you might know my name, but you don't know me. So what they say, in the words of T.I., you might see me in the streets, but listen, you don't know me. Quit telling people you my partner. Listen, you don't know me. So like people can know your name. People can have they can have some proximity to you, but that doesn't mean that you know me, like of me. And so that's what I kind of think. I don't think that they are these besties, clearly. That was kind of demonstrated, unless I got it messed up and maybe they too old for what I think that's supposed to look like. Maybe that's what's going on. But yeah, I'd be interested to see where they are from this point forward. Uh-oh. So again, we'll be doing our live later on this evening. Um, and we'll break down the episodes for Real Housewives of Potomac and Married to Medicine. So if you have not already, make sure you like this video, hit the subscribe button, and also hit that bell notification so you can be notified when another video is up. What else? Oh, yes, you got to subscribe to my channel and go over to the community tab. So we will be doing our Real Housewives of Potomac Housewives Awards. We are going to do that the night before. We'll do that the night before Real Housewives of Potomac Reunion Part 1. So that looks like that's going to be February 7th. February 7th, because next week is the last full episode with Karen. Stop! Why are you chewing on everything? Shoot, I'm trying to pack up around here. He trying to chew up all the boxes. Move! Come on. Get in your place here. Come on. Go in your playpen. Come on. Go to your playpen. Go lay down. He know he doing something he ain't got no business doing. Go to your playpen. Don't come looking at me. Okay, so February 7th, we are going to announce our winners for Real Housewives of Potomac Season 10 Housewife Awards. You can go over to the community tab on my YT channel and place your vote. Okay, so still got time. I will be sharing it again. so that everybody gets a chance to be able to vote. So I'm excited about that. The first annual, and I feel like I want to do this for the housewives that I do reviews for. Like I think Salt Lake City is on their reunion right now. I didn't watch any of Salt Lake City this year, this season. I watched them previous, and as a matter of fact, last season I didn't watch the whole season. And it's funny that I did watch the documentary about Mary Crosby, but I believe a part of me not really being into um Salt Lake City anymore was because they did let Mary come back in, and I mean, she just skated through all of that little her personal storyline outside of her son, because now this personal storyline is her son having this drug problem, which feels like she exploiting him about it, but maybe I mean, listen, maybe it's not being exploited at all. It's just what's happening. But I do notice that they don't ask about the church. She's done a good job of separating that, and it feels phony to me. And so a lot of times, like I'm just not drawn to go and watch them. So I haven't, so I'm saying that to say there is no Salt Lake City Housewife Awards. Maybe they might come up, but we're going to do it for Married to Medicine. We certainly are going to do it for Atlanta, and we might just do a overall Housewives Awards, right? Like different categories, in which we'll pick housewives from all of the franchises. Okay, so thanks so much for joining me. Make sure you like the video. I got to get out of here, y'all.